All right, that was Nina Simone. You put a spell on me, and
That's what
that
I was going to
played.
say.
Yes, and that played throughout Acrimony. Hi, I'm Kendell Lenice. This is more than just a movie with my co-host Leroy Mckenzie Jr, where we break down classic Black films. Now, some might say Acrimony ain't no classic Black film. True, that's true. It came out, but we are doing Tyler Perry month. So the month of August is Tyler Perry month. So we chose 5 movies because we talk about them. They're real life issues and things going on. And this is a great one. This is no different. Acrimony came out March 30th, 2018. I remember going to the movies with my daughter to see it. I drug her there and she was like, "Why did you have me see this movie?" She didn't like it so much, but I've seen this movie probably about 4 or 5 times because I get different things from the movie and the psychological thing that I look at. So this is, yes, not really a classic, but this is Tyler Perry month. The budget was $20 million. The box office, it made $46.4 million. Taraji P. Henson was the star. Lyric Bent was the other co-star. Crystal Stewart, Baltimore's own Brescia Webb, Danielle Nicolette, Jasmine Simon, Angenoa Alexis. So the premise of this movie is Melinda and Robert. They meet in college. She worked to support him. She sacrificed her money, her time, her effort, gave him everything. She supported his dreams. He drained her bank accounts. Once she couldn't take it anymore, she left because she thought he was cheating. He finally his invention finally hits, and he makes millions. And she was listening to the sisters, listening to the family like he's a deadbeat, he's this and that and all of that. And then his invention hits after years and years and years, and they watch them grow from young people to older people, and they had all these dreams and wishes, and he said, "I'm gonna do this for you, that for you, this for you." After a while, it seemed like none of that was going to happen. She was tired of it. She was pushed by her sister. She thought he was cheating. She was dealing with stuff within her mind. And then he hits. Acrimony, Tyler Perry. What you got to say? Let's start it off, Leroy. And I'm in the car. I know this is a different, yeah, I'm outside.
That is a real background, y'all. That is
This
a
is a
real
real
background.
background. This is a real background. And this is real heat coming from it. About 90 degrees, it says, and sunny. And yes, it
Oh,
is.
Jesus.
And my
Whoa,
head is pounded. I told you earlier, my head is pounded. So if y'all see
wow.
me squinting, it could be because of the sun, or it could be because my head is really hurting. All right, Leroy,
All right, trooper.
you
You're a
got,
trooper. You're a trooper today.
man, the show must go on. That's what we didn't do it yesterday. And then today I was like, we gotta do it because we got a certain amount of movies to do. So I was like, I'm just gonna push through. But I feel like my head is about to pop off.
I mean, but this, I thought uh, it was okay. I'm like
Mhm.
you, it was maybe like you do it. This ain't one of the movies that,
Oh,
oh,
did I mention they filmed this in 8 days?
yeah, I can, and I think I saw an interview with Taraji. She was talking about the filming of Acrimony,
Mm-hmm.
and she did it in between her filming of Empire,
Mm-hmm.
and she said they only got 1 to 2 takes doing
Mm-hmm.
Acrimony.
That's how
So
Tyler Perry does it.
yeah, but see, all right, and I'll ask you your opinion about that. I don't necessarily like that. I
He
don't
does
think,
that with sisters in his
yeah,
shows too. And it'd be mistakes and they just keep on going.
yeah,
That's why
they
it
just
starts
keep
to
on
look a
going.
mess.
And to me, that doesn't give you to me, it doesn't give you a quality product. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know if you watched last night, the talk show After Sisters. It came on After Sisters last
Mm-mm.
night. They had Tyler Perry and they had the cast of Sisters on
Mm.
there. And so they were talking about, kind of what happened over the season. And then he talked a little bit about what's coming up in the next season.
Oh, okay.
Right. But one of the things that they did was they took questions, I think via Twitter or whatever and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, some of the he was gracious about it. He did take some of the criticism And one of the criticisms was, and it made me laugh because I thought about you when they were talking about the wigs, because they were talking about the wigs.
They always stay on those wigs, and Tyler Perry seemed like he's over it. He
doesn't care. He doesn't care. He was like, his answer or response to that was, he has folks that he pays $65 an hour to do the wigs or whatever, and
he need a refund.
Yeah, he even had the nerve to say that they do a good job. Like, no, Tyler, you know.
He needs but Tyler Perry, I'm telling you, when you talk about them wigs, he gets real indignant. I've seen it, and he really thinks that there's nothing wrong. I'm not sure why he thinks that.
Two things. He doesn't think that there's anything wrong with the, I guess, the wigs, but then he also doesn't think that there's anything wrong with his writing. And I'll be critical of Acrimony. The ending, I thought, was really corny. I'm gonna say that. You know, he can get upset or whatever, but I thought it was corny. Them being on the boat and all of that.
And everybody wants to know how she got on that dang boat.
Yeah, how she get on the boat.
If it's in the middle of the ocean, how she get on the boat?
Yeah, so, you know, just you gotta, you know, that writing aspect of it, and they criticize his writing, saying that he should have a writer.
They said that?
Yes, they did. Yep. And his response was, and he's coming from a place where I've tried it. I had the writers, table, whatever they call it, the writers table and everything like that.
Yeah, the writers room.
Yeah, and he had some bad experiences with the writers room, and he's like, I know my audience. You know, I know my audience. I know what they want and everything like that. I'm like, that's cool, Tyler. You know your audience, but here's the thing: whether you're an entrepreneur, you know what your vision is. Your responsibility as a entrepreneur leader is to be able to give your vision to those that work for you, so that they can then impart your vision onto, to the audience that you're trying to reach. Because if it's only your voice that they're hearing, it always reminds me of Prince and that line in Purple Rain where I think it might have been Morris Day. He said, or one of the ladies in the band, Lisa or Wendy, they said, is it that you can only hear your voice? You know, you gotta be able to have other people that can actually still put your voice out there. It's still Tyler Perry, but you have someone else that can give you a broad range of what it is that you're bringing to people. Yeah. And last thing, and then we'll get back on after.
No, it's true.
They talked about on the show Sisters. I don't know if you watch it or not.
Yeah, I like Sisters. I'm not caught up.
They were like, Tyler, why are you putting those grown people in a double bed?
And those wigs be a mess too.
No, not the wig, the bed.
The bed, they are. Yeah, they do.
Too big.
Yeah, they do.
It's too big to be laying in. Put them in a king size bed.
They do.
And he did admit that he needs to change that. So hopefully,
they do.
Hopefully they'll change that. But Acrimony, I thought the first part of the story, like you just gave, I thought that was really good. Because you had these two college sweethearts. They go on this journey together. They get married. Taraji P. Henson's character, Melinda Mel. She's supporting, her husband, being supportive of him. She carries and I don't know what I forgot what job she had or what career she had in this movie.
Because she had the money because her mom passed. Remember?
Okay.
And she had the money because her mom passed and left the house and left money.
Right. Left out, right.
And he went through all of that with his dream.
Right.
And she believed in him, and he made her feel like she was the one. So she lost the mother's house. She spent all the money on his invention.
Right.
So it's almost like, what is right? Like, what do you think? Like, did he use her? Did he seem like he used her? Or was it all in her mind? And the whole premise is she's in therapy and she's telling the story.
Right.
And it's almost like two versions of the same story.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, is her mind playing tricks on her? Did it happen? Did he really use her? Or was he really down for her and just had a dream that he couldn't let go?
No, and that's the thing about his occupation, what he was doing. And please understand this, because this is real life. This, I can promise you that this has happened in real life.
Yeah.
You have folks that, they have aspirations and dreams and stuff like that, and they're working at it. Entrepreneurship is not easy.
No, it's not. And everybody don't believe in your dream, and it's a problem. Right. Like, everybody just doesn't believe in a dream, because some people have the worker mentality, some people don't, especially if your dream is to do something that they don't have any inkling of. They can't really wrap their head around. Why don't you have a 9 to 5?
Right. Well, you got to do something to bring the money in, in order to be able to, in order for us to be able to survive. And like you said, I do agree. She had gotten to the point where she was done. She was like, okay, I've put all of this money into what you thought was going to happen. And sometimes it can happen quickly, or it can take time. His invention took time, and he had to work at it. He had to tweak it. He had to go through the many turn downs and failures that he had, but I give it to him that he stuck with it, because he was the one that believed in it. And all it takes is that one person to believe in it. And you can be very successful. And that's what happened with him. It took years, but when he found that one person that pitched it to the right people, and they saw the benefits of it, and that's when it all turned around. But she took that, don't say chance, but she was done. And it was unfortunate on her part that by the time she had given up, that was exactly when he got his breakthrough.
But that was like 20 years later. But it was to the point that they were in an unhappy marriage. She kept dumping money into him. She believed in him over and over and over and over and over again. It did seem like he was swindling and finessing her a bit, saying, oh, I just need this and that and this. And it did seem like, and that's the whole challenge. So it did seem like he was selling her a pipe dream at first.
Really? You thought
they were walking through the promenade, and he's like, this will be your house. It's going to be our boat. We're going to name it this and that. And they have the vision, and they're thinking about it. And that all seems fine until all these years pass. She's getting tired. She's the only one working. She's the only one. He's spending up all the money. He's doing all the, credit all messed up, losing mama's house and all of that stuff. So it's almost like, was he really asking her to support him, or was he using her? And him, he was supporting, and she eventually, because of her sisters too, thought that he was using her. Because it sounded like, and I think Tyler Perry made it sound like he was being smooth. But I think it really was, he really had a dream. So you can look at it two different ways. Was he using her, or was he asking her to support her? And how long should you support somebody's dream? Do you lose everything that you have? I've been there, where I lost money, I lost credit, helping a brother out. I always say I've done community service time and time again, help a brother out. And your stuff be jacked up. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, was it that? Or should she had stayed the 20 years? Should she had believed him? Because she started making up stories in her mind as well.
Right.
And I think Tyler Perry was trying to show that too, like how you can make up a whole scenario in your mind, and you thinking, and it's not even what's happening. It's just in your mind.
And I think that was one of the, like you said, one of the premises of the movie, with her talking to the therapist. She did. Excuse me. She was seeing a lot of that, a lot of things in her mind, and it depends on how you allow your mind to be taken to, because she could have seen it. She could have seen it as him trying to use her, but when you're out, to me, if I'm in that situation where I'm trying to be supportive, of someone, and whether it's a friend or whether it's a husband, husband and wife, and being supportive. When it comes to your vision and your dream, you do have to understand that it's your vision. you know, so you can't expect everyone to see your vision because it's
Right.
yours. But at the same time, when you have a husband and wife, and you have husband and wives that be like, what are you doing? You know, you need to, you need to go find some
Yeah.
additional income or do
Yeah.
something. So until you can get your business going,
Yeah.
or get the the invention,
Yeah.
trademarked and all of those things, or get somebody to buy into it, and everything like that. And with those kind of inventions, that's a lot of money that you need to come up with. So you need a venture capitalist or angel, what you call an angel investor. You know, you need somebody to see what it is, like he was pitching to do, was these corporations that will invest in the product that he had created. So that can take years, and it can be frustrating. It can be frustrating on both ends. It can be frustrating, disappointing. You know, like you said, Melinda put all this money into trying, into her husband, trying to say, you know what, I believe in you, I trust you. And it can come to that point where you just like, you know what, nah, I'm done. I'm tapped out. I'm tapping out here.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. She tapped out. But then on the flip side of that, you can't get mad. You can't get mad when what happened to him happens. He breaks it big.
So how long should you support? That's a good question, because
I don't think you can answer
20
that.
some years. She went from younger, and then you watched them when they were in the bathroom and they were just trains passing in the night. They barely were talking. It was putting a strain on their marriage. They turned from young to older, and it just passing in the wind. And it put a strain on their marriage because she was just tapped out.
Well, I think it depends. I think I think that question can only be answered by the individual. For
you,
people,
I'm asking, how long would you support somebody?
Honestly, it would probably depend on what the product or service was, and my thing to to my wife and everything like that would be, well, if this isn't working, let's try this. If this isn't working, let's try it. If that didn't work, let's try this.
So you're saying that you would be supportive for maybe the 20 years, whatever it takes.
Yeah, if I believed in the product, but if I didn't believe in the product that she was trying to put out there, then I'd be like, babe, you might want to rethink this, because it's not a viable product. It's not.
Now, if you thought she was cheating,
say it again.
If you thought she was cheating like she did, then what?
That's another story.
Because that's where it got tricky.
Yeah, if you dip it on the side, that's you dipping on the side. That's a totally different story.
Dipping on the side.
Yeah, I ain't down for that.
Right.
My thing has always been, if you want to leave. Don't be a grown woman about it.
But see, he wasn't even, and that's out too. He wasn't even cheating. He tried to explain what happened.
Right.
But that's what happens when you're so fed up already in the relationship. Right. And all these things are already happening. It's like you just need one more thing. You know what I mean? And that was that one more thing.
And then the thing of it is,
and I don't like when family is in your business. That's one thing I don't like. I don't put my family in my relationship. I don't believe in that. People do that. I don't believe in that.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that, because that in and of itself too begins to get tricky.
And her family got her hemmed up.
Right. And she, and the thing of it is, to go back what you were talking about with the cheating and everything like that, it wasn't even I don't believe it was about him cheating necessarily. I think it was more about, she would, like you said, she was already angry. She already had in her mind, she was pretty much fed up. She was already fed up. The cheating gave her an excuse to lash out and to do everything that she had been wanting to do. That she might have been holding on to do. And she didn't want to seem like, oh, I'm just being, I'm not being supportive and this, that, and the other. But the cheating gave her the excuse to say, you know what, good anyway. You ever notice that in business? Folks are good, but the second something goes wrong, it's like the floodgates open. They just put this, They had all these things that they felt were wrong before and didn't say a word. But then all of a sudden, that last thing, and they just
because it's like everything on their plate. It's like having people hold boulders, right? And you're already struggling with the boulders. Then they put that last one on there, and you like go off at that point. You didn't see that I was holding these, and it was heavy, and they're falling, and you know you can't take no more. I'm gonna play the trailer real quick.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all can see it. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, you did.
So, do you think you have an anger problem? Don't tell me I don't have a right to be angry. You don't know what he did to me. Help me understand this injustice. Just tell me what happened. How far do you want to go? Why don't we just start from the beginning? He's beautiful. Gotta give him that. I was everything he needed me to be. I was strong when he needed me to be. I played weak. Years seem to pass like days. He wouldn't cheat on you, would he? He's not touching me. So if he's not getting it from me, he's getting it from somewhere. You lie and you cheat. I'm Diana, Robert's fiance.
And once that happened, boy, she went on a tailspin.
You ever considered that maybe there's another way to look at this? Maybe the deceit isn't what you think. Would you allow room for that possibility? He caused all of this. All of it. He owes me. Yes, he owes every damn breath in his body.
Now I think the problem is, okay, so that goes, that, you know, he cheated when they were in college, right?
Right.
So sometimes when you've already done certain things and the same thing comes up,
right,
it was easier for her to believe that because she noticed that it was the same woman from back in the day. So in college, when she rammed her car into the trailer, when she was so angry, she caused herself not to be able to have children. So then later, fast forward 18 years, she thinks he's cheating. And it's the same woman that was in the trailer 18 years ago. So she's already bugging, and then her family is already saying, you know, stuff ain't right. And then he knew she was getting the mother's house and money. And he started off in college like, hey, can you pay she paid the rest of his tuition. Remember? She paid the rest of his tuition. She was giving him money like the whole entire time.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What's the difference between her doing all of that and then you have some men who have done all of that for women, and they either dip or not necessarily have to do with the job, you know, with the job or career or anything like that, and they dip on them? Is there a difference?
Well, I guess when I'm not talking about like who paid what. I'm talking about when you know somebody's mother left the house, right? Or if you know and you like, okay, you know, I need this car, I need this tuition paid, I need that. he's doing that and she's doing it, but then she's going through the money to the point where you're like, okay, what's the deal, or what's happening, or you know what I mean? You're thinking about, okay, so what's going on here? What's going on? And I think that's the way Tyler Perry tried to do it. He tried to make you think like he's a good guy, because at the end you think like he's a good guy. Like he comes in with that check. He said, you know what, I lost your mama's house. I'm buying it back. Here's a check for you for all your heartache, your pain, your suffering. I want to make sure you're good. I give you back the keys to the house. So then it makes you think like he was legit. He was honestly trying to make his invention pop off, and he wasn't using her. So I think Tyler Perry did it is make you think.
One thing, a twist to the
that
movie.
He's right, that he's using her because he was suave and he was handsome and he was saying certain things. But then you realize through the middle and end that he wasn't. He just really was passionate about his dream. And I think that she started understanding that as well. When he came to, but then I was like, dang, I said, he tried to beg, he begged and he pleaded. Remember in the house, he begged and pleaded and told her he's not cheating. Please don't leave me. He did all of that. And she was acting cold-blooded. She was sitting there acting cold-blooded, sitting in that chair where her family was pumping her up. That's why I can't stand when family is in your business. Because to me, the two individuals that are married need to be the two individuals that marry. And it gets tricky. You don't need all those extra voices in your marriage. And her sister and her sisters and brothers-in-law were all the extra voices in their marriage. So then she blames them for them listening. But she knew, I think she didn't think he was cheating. I think they made her think that, and she didn't want to be a fool. Right. And sometimes that happens, the embarrassment of it all. You don't want to be a fool.
And like you said, I do think that him cheating back in college played a factor in her family being able to get into her ear about that. Because he cheated before, as some folks believe, that if you cheated once, you do it again. All of those things that came along with it, but I just honestly believe that you have to look at things for yourself. Yeah, you might, if you may talk to your family and friends about certain situations, but you've got to be the one to really understand the situation. We all need people to, bounce things off of and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But and like you said, as far as family and friends coming in between your relationship, no, you're the ultimate person that has to make those decisions about your relationship. Not what somebody else says, or tells you, or even what has happened to somebody else. Just because something bad or even great has happened to somebody else doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you, or that it's supposed to happen to you. So I think that was that was her mistake. I just think that she had some mental issues anyway, and he needed to be the one saying, you know what, do I really want to be with this woman like that?
But it's like she was fine. She popped off real bad when she hit the trailer to the to the house, and her sisters and stuff were talking about it. And then she didn't show no sign of crazy or whatever you want to say until she realized he had somebody else. But this is the pivotal moment in the movie. Let me see if I can play it.
Okay.
And this is where things went left.
I would do anything for you. And I did. And you lied. And you cheated.
Taraji looked crazy in the mud.
Didn't she? But she played crazy though.
I'm done with
that cigarette.
I'm done. Get out. Get out.
That's what he tried.
You should leave. I'm not leaving.
He don't even want to leave.
You know me. You know I can be the devil.
No, look, when she said that, he was like, dang. But that was the thing. He was begging, he was pleading, he was saying, you know, that's not true. I didn't cheat. You know, I want to be with you. And let me tell you something. She left him, or she told him to leave. No soon after his invention hits, he runs into Diana. And he tells her, hey, I've been sending this prototype to this company for 18 years, right? And they just been like, yeah, that's that crazy man. He does stuff every year. And because it's all about who you know, because there were fresh eyes on it, somebody that knew him pushed it through. And oftentimes that happens. Your stuff can be sitting there and somebody, you know, fresh eyes on it pushes it through. So it pushed it through. Diana sees it and she starts reminiscing and sees how many times, you know, and over the years when they're like, that's that cuckoo guy, and he keeps sending it. And she gets him seen, and then they get this big check, they turn it down, and then it's a bigger check. So he feels like, and that's the part I don't like also, but I get it. Then you meet somebody else and now everything is gravy. When I done struggled in the mud with you, I done paid for everything, I done took care of everything, and then now you meet her. Then Taraji was like, she got my boat, she got my penthouse, she got my this, she got my car. And then when the lady said she was pregnant and Taraji couldn't have none, I was like, oh Lord, this lady about to lose her ever loving mind. But when he came to the job and he came with the check, she's thinking like, oh, maybe we'll get back together. And she stood there with her mouth on the floor when he said, here's the keys to the house, the mortgage is paid off, here's a little something for you, you know, thank you for supporting me. And she just looking like, and then she takes the check to her family and they still acting foolish. Oh, maybe it's not real. She's like, nope, I verified the funds, it's real. And they like, oh shoot, it really did pay off. Everybody like, looking stupid.
We going to the bank. They was like, we going to the bank first thing in the morning.
Right. That's how you gotta do. When you don't know, and that money is hot, you don't know. You want to hurry up and get to that bank as quick as before they change their mind. When they change their mind, they start changing their mind. You can't make me laugh anymore. My head is hurting. But that is so funny that you want to hurry up and get to that bank. That's what they said before the funds ain't there. And then she proceeds to cuss her people out. Like, I shouldn't have listened to you. Like, I knew he wasn't cheating, but she didn't want to. And that's happens to a lot of us. Nobody wants to look like a fool.
Right.
Absolutely. Like a fool over nobody, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when the stuff in her head started to begin.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about Leroy when she went up to the penthouse thinking that she was gonna get back with her man with her trench coat. The house that he said he was gonna give them, and Diana came up from the bathroom. Talk about that for a minute.
Well, and you know,
remember
like
that?
you said, you know that had to hurt because he had been, like you said, he had been telling her that since they were in college. This is what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you this kind of house. I'm going to give you this kind of lifestyle, you know, and all of those things. We're going to have a boat. We're going to have this, and she felt like she had invested enough in the relationship. Now, not just him, but that part of that is investing in the relationship. And I think that I know at least I have felt that way, where it doesn't have to be a financial aspect that you invested in somebody, but you put your heart, your mind, your soul into somebody.
Yeah.
And you come up empty, and then you leave and they done gone off with somebody else and happy and whatever and living that lifestyle. You're like, yeah, okay, all right, I got something for you. You know,
it happens.
It can happen. Now, I think, of course, you know, Melinda went too far with it. You know, yeah, that's going to hurt. That would hurt anybody. I don't care who you are. That's
when she said, "Hi, I'm Diana, his fiance."
Right.
But the thing is, he knew she was in the bathroom. He knew when Melinda came in there with the trench coat, he could have been like, "Girl, go, because I don't want to hurt you like this. Go." And he sat there, was looking at her because she's like, "You did buy the building. You said we were going to live here." And, you know, she still was on that because she still loved him.
You think so?
And she was just tired. But he moved on kind of quick. And I guess, too, because the new woman nursed him back to health, let him have a place to stay, and gave him a bath. You know what I mean? All of that. And he felt like she was there for him in his rough spot. Right. But then I look at Melinda. Melinda was there for him in his whole rough life.
Yeah, but he tried to keep the relationship going.
He did.
She was the one that said, "I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done. I've put enough into this." It's almost like
and she was mean with it.
Right. Yeah, she was cutthroat about it. I could understand if she was
like, "I'm the devil."
You know, I can be the devil. I mean, so that's saying that she was beyond, she was bitter. She was someone who I could honestly say was bitter because, like we saw in the penthouse scene, she felt like that she was entitled to what he had earned. And he said, hey, he actually agreed with that. And that's why he cut that check. He cut the check because it's like, look, you were there for me. He did that. You were there for me. When nobody else believed in me, you believed that you pumped money into my investment. She was practically a partner in the invention. She was that silent partner because she had fronted up the money to even get him to where he was, because without her putting that money in, he doesn't have the invention. You know, it doesn't even get to the point where he even gets it to the patent for it, you know, or at least the prototype. He doesn't get the prototype for it. So he thanked her. And we have to understand too, some people, and I was in a clubhouse room earlier today, some people are there for a reason. Some people are there for a season. Some people are there for a lifetime. You know, she was there for a season and a reason. She just wasn't meant to be there for a lifetime.
She might have meant to be there for a lifetime, but she messed it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and she blamed everybody but herself.
Because, and I know the feeling, like when you feel like you made the wrong choice.
Right.
And then people go on and live their lives and all of that. I know what that feels like. I've been there, you know, where it's just like, dang, I gave up too soon. Or maybe I didn't, you know, and I think everybody has those moments where they feel like maybe they should have made a different choice. And they've made the choice, and now they have to deal with the choice that they made. And that's not always an easy pill to swallow for many people. When you think you've made the right choice at the time, then you realize later it's not. But then life still keeps going on, and things still keep and then now, you know, he's moved on. He couldn't stay single forever, but I think he did zoom into that quickly. And I think it was quickly because he knew her already. Right. And he helped her. She helped him get to the next level when he was in the homeless shelter and all of that. But then Taraji starts being in her head. You know, she's stalking the lady on social media, you know, what you hear people doing all the time. She starts, you know, she goes to court for harassing her. She tells the judge, tell everybody she's gonna keep doing it. Like she had no remorse. Then when she found, and then Diana kind of tried to take the knife and stab it more. It's like, because we're with child type thing at court. You know what I mean? I think she was really being messy about it. The new wife. She was digging the hole and she was turning the knife. Right. Where he was trying to keep the peace. You know, he still cared for her. He still loved her. she decided to leave. He said, I'm still going to make sure you're good. I'm still going to take care, of you. And because I lost the house and blah, 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 I'm still going to do that. I apologized. He brought her flowers and all of that. So he was trying to make amends.
Right.
And he really wasn't trying to dig at her. It
Not
was
at
the
all.
new wife was trying to dig at her.
Right. Yeah, she
And
definitely
and holding the ring and all of that. And that's that messy behavior that some women do.
Yeah, and that's the pettiness that you see sometimes. Yeah, when it comes to folks. Yeah, I got it, and you don't have it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing, and making matters even worse, like you said, because I do believe he cared for her and everything like that. But once she decided to move on, I believe he decided to move on. It was like, look, I've moved on now, and I say it like this. Back then, you did. Well, I can't say that with Taraji's character. They say Mike Jones. Back then, you didn't know me. Now I'm hot.
Right now, you all up on me.
You all up on me.
Right now, you all up on me. But that does happen. But she was with him when he had nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I understand how she felt like she lost everything, because it's not only what she did for him, but you got to think about it. She was with him since she was in college.
Yeah.
Like that was her whole world. Now she doesn't have that. It wasn't, I don't think, so much that it hit. Now it's like, I feel like I don't have anything. And now my family is going against me. So I can't even trust them. And I know about that. You already know, I know about the family that go against you and you can't trust them, and I understand that completely. And with my family, it's like that. Like you talking to, like, remember her family was trying to plot with the new woman and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I think that's, I think that was wrong. I honestly do. I think that, they were trying to protect her, the sister. I get it. But they done blocked her in when the wedding, remember the wedding happened, they done blocked all the cars in. So she couldn't come out, and she felt like she had nobody. She felt like her family betrayed her. She felt like her man is gone, even though she told him to leave.
Right.
So she can't get mad at that. But now she's just like, okay, now what do I do? And the way that she was dancing around that dark room when he bought the house back, I was like, woo. Remember, she was looking through all the cutouts and going through the room and plotting and planning, because now she felt like somebody else had her life, the life that she paid 18 years for.
Right. And that's a tough thing to see, where you've done all this work, and I've heard, and I guess you can come at it from a woman's perspective. You put all this work into this relationship with this man, and it doesn't work out for you all. And then he goes to that next woman, and it just seems like everything becomes easy. Their life seems totally happy and everything like that. You'd be like,
that's why I call community service. A lot of us women have done community service.
It's like, well, where was all of that when we was together? Right. Now all of a sudden you want to glow up
when you was all dusty and rusty with me. Light was all dim. Now you want to shine and all bright. I done put the work in. But it happens so much.
Yeah, it really does.
Happens so much. So, but that is a question. If anyone's watching, if you're watching the playback, like, how long is too long to put it in? Yeah, like some might say, if it didn't pop off for 20 years, some might say 5 years, I wouldn't have done that. Right. So what is too long? Yeah. Like, should she have waited another 5 years? Maybe if it didn't happen, another 10 years. So now it's 30 years. And she like stressed out, concerned, broke, downtrodden. You know what I'm saying? Like, how long is too long?
Yeah. And that, like I said, that becomes a question. And to me, that's an individual, that becomes an individual question, because only you know how long you're willing to put in. For some people it's 5 years, some people it's 15 years, some people it's 20 years. So it just kind of depends on what your level of, of being able to put up with something like that is. And the only thing I say is you gotta live with that answer. Because if it's 5 years and then that person becomes who Robert becomes, you can't come back and be like, oh yeah, well I was there when you were, but you decided to dip, you know.
Yeah.
Hanging there, 18 years, and that 19th year you say I'm done, like Melinda did. She's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And it happens whether it's the next day or whether it's the next year, and they become, very successful in what it is that they're doing. You're the one that has to live with that decision that you made, because that was your decision to make.
Yeah.
It wasn't his or hers, wasn't your family's. You're the one that made that decision. And that's what I say about Melinda. She could, you can't blame your family,
right,
for none of that. You were the one that made that decision. It wasn't your family. Yeah, they put a bug in your ear.
right.
They put that bug in your ear, but it was you that made that decision.
Yeah.
It was you that said, I'm done. It was you that said, I can be the devil. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm like, so what is too,
Yeah.
should she have waited? She should have, you know what I'm saying? Then it's just like, okay, so what?
Well, I mean, but the thing is, if she wait, if the character Melinda, if that was her threshold.
Here's that other one.
And I remember the building.
I felt so embarrassed for her.
This the building you say we live in. So proud of you.
He could have told her, like, girl.
Yeah, he could have warned her about her being in the room.
Oh Lord.
Hi, I'm Diana, Robert's fiance.
See, and that's when it all begins.
Notice she put out the left hand.
Huh?
Notice she put out the left hand.
That's what I'm saying. The right hand. But that's what they do. That's what happens. So it's like you throwing the dig, you being petty. He wasn't, but he should have told her right then, go on, girl. But then he's like, he still loves her. And then he remembers, like, dang, this is the building. So now you're starting to think this woman is living your life. She stole your life. And that's pretty much what she was saying. Like everything that they dreamt about and talked about. She stole her life. So then that puts her on this path where she is like, you know what? That's when she begins to just really zap out. So let's talk about the last scene. So many people talk about this last scene, and so many people like, dang, people. Okay, with this movie, people hate this movie. I went to see this at the movies. Like I said, my daughter was like, that was a waste of my 2 hours. Like that was horrible. And even when she's seen me watch it again, she's like, why are you watching that movie again? And then Daryl liked the movie. Like, why are you watching that movie again? Because it's just interesting with me. And I'm like big on like the psychological, like she was really starting to feed it to herself almost, even though the events happened, she was almost like, and that goes to show you the power of the mind. When you really think that somebody took your life. And she's like trying to get it back. She's not going to get it back. But it begins to, when your mind starts playing tricks on you and you begin to feel a certain way. Talk about that for a second.
Well, it can, like I said, because she was hurt and she was vested. She was vested in the relationship, not just him, the relationship. And I hopefully women watching this movie can understand somewhat of what we as men go through when we talk about, when they talk about men being providers and protectors, and I say producers. When this culture that we live in now, where the man is supposed to pay for everything, he's the one that's supposed to, to do all of the working and all of this, that, and the other, and all of the providing. but you can see it from that lens. See it from Melinda's lens. She put in 18 years. 18 years. It wasn't just, to me, it wasn't just the money.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't
She
just the
invested
money.
in him.
It was in him. This is how much I believe in you. This is me
She
supporting
believed
you.
him. She even named the Gales win. She even named his invention. Like she was invested. He didn't burn. She named his invention. He done burnt the wires out, electric, you know, the electrical sockets, and she done went through so much with him.
Right.
Not having sex, not spending time together. His mind totally solely focused on this, not giving anything to the relationship. His whole being was within this. So she lacked and didn't get so much from the relationship because of this.
Right. So understand it. Now flip that. And then instead of it being Melinda, imagine that being Robert. Putting all of that time into Melinda, her career, her thing and everything. And
unfortunately, it never happens that way. It's always, you hear stories and stories, real life stories, where a woman puts their life on hold, their jobs on hold to put their men through school. You hear that. You hear that more than you hear men giving up their job. They're being a house husband to put their wife through school.
Right.
Sadly, it's never like that. It's usually the woman sacrifices and puts her stuff on the back burner so the man could flourish.
Well, I'm gonna say it like this. Yeah, I think that's the narrative that's always.
No, that's what happens.
I don't think it's talked about as much that in their, in their careers and they are vested. And even if you want to take it beyond the even from let's say a dating and relationship perspective, and even when you get married, like I just talked about, where you have men are expected to put up money and to do this and do that and not give it a second thought. It's like, oh well, if she walks away, she walks away. If she if she uses you, she uses you. But when you have a woman that does that same thing, like I said, this would be
because men are grown up to think that. Like I've had men tell me that my woman ain't paying for nothing.
Right.
Like I've known men to be like, my woman ain't paying for nothing. That's not the man. I'm the man. I'm supposed to take care of it. I know plenty of men that feel that way. Like I remember one time I almost got beat down. I pulled out my wallet to pay. They was like, no, you don't, and then you meet men that want to split stuff 50-50, or they want the woman to pay or do everything. And the man don't do nothing. And then, you see acrimony where, he was living off of her, and unfortunately.
Do you think that she was how they say men are physical, women are emotional. Do you and
what
was
you said?
Emotionally vested? Because like I said,
I think she was emotionally.
Man, he would have been told.
Yeah, I think she was most emotionally invested, and I honestly think like he was invested in his invention. I don't think he was trying to just take her money per se, but all his attention, all his money, all his anything that he had was in the invention, and he totally forgot about her. So again, it was more than just money because they weren't intimate. They weren't spending time together. They weren't doing anything. He was spending all his waking hours on the invention.
Yeah, and
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then she sees him now, all light, all free, living his life, having fun. And she's like, he didn't have no fun with me. He didn't do anything with me because he was so focused on jumping this off. He wasn't even able to live. So now I'm watching him live. And after I done died, I done got older I done lost all my money. I done lost my house, even though he, definitely returned the favor and did that.
Right.
But she couldn't get out of her head the shoulda, woulda, coulda. And that's the problem. A lot of people have that. Like, I should have done this if I done this, or what if I done that, or what if, and she has my life. So then you start being in your own head and you can't get out of it.
Yeah. And
that's the hard part.
Right. It's the hard part. And I think that Melinda, I think, like you said, I do believe that coming to the penthouse, seeing all of that, and then seeing that woman come out, she was at the edge there.
She was at the edge.
That woman, seeing Diane there, took her over the edge. It was like, oh, to the gnaw.
Right.
She was
like, no. But then it was like she couldn't get her life back because she was so obsessed and consumed with his new life, the new woman, the money. She was so she couldn't even live a healthy life on her own and say, you know what? I made the wrong choice. Or, okay, now he has her. Like, she could not rationalize that because she put all of that time in. So now she was consumed with them and getting her back and getting her life back, that it took over her whole life. So really, he consumed her whole life in different ways.
Right. Exactly. And
so now he was all light and fresh and looking good and smelling good, and in the penthouse on the boat, he was all, all light. The sun was all around him. Then when you go to her, it's all dark, and she just couldn't. And that was the issue. She could not concede and say, okay,
she couldn't move on.
I made the wrong choice. She could not move on.
Yeah, she definitely couldn't move on. And
she done cussed the boy out that they done tried to hook her up with, told him his little wee was small. She hated him all.
She was brutal. She was brutal. I was like, oh, you want to talk about cutthroat? Yeah, I met Robert. It's like, whoo, I done dodged the big one here. He totally went.
But he loved her.
Like, yeah, I know she was,
he loved her though. Yeah. But you didn't know that he loved her until the end, because Tyler Perry made it seem like he was using her throughout this. You didn't see the love. Think about it.
Well, I think I saw it when he went to her job.
No, that's what I'm talking about. When they were in college, you couldn't really see it.
Right.
Tyler Perry made it like he was just using her. He didn't have his parents, so he wanted you to think that. But then when he went to his job, when he was begging her at the sister in his house, that's when you can see. But then it's like, still, you can't see if he just don't want to lose his meal ticket or if he really is. But then when he comes to her job, you can see it in every ounce of his body that he loved her.
Yeah, and that, and that showed him going that, because even when they were in court, even the judge said he's gone above and way beyond of what he needed to. He ain't had to do none of this stuff that
he did.
That he did. He was like,
he could have said, all right, she lost the house. He done paid the house off. He done gave her he could have just paid the house off. He done gave her a check for a couple $1 million.
Yeah. So I do think like,
and that's what made it seem like he loved her.
Yeah,
and that he appreciated her.
Right, and I do believe, I agree with you that I think it was intentional on Tyler Perry's writing part to make it seem like, is he, like you were saying,
you couldn't tell.
Is he really there for the, for her, or is he there for the money and what she was actually doing for him, and can he, could he use her and everything like that? So I certainly agree with you there. So let's deal with that. Let's deal with the last part with the boat scene.
All right. So he's on the SS Gales or whatever, the boat that she had that was supposed to be hers. Him and Diana cruising on the boat. She got the wedding dress on, or got the wedding dress in the thing. Oh Lord. So she's in there running a bath. They about to have a good old time on the boat, her and her man. And Taraji somehow, Melinda gets on the boat in the middle of the water.
It's
got
me.
the dress, or got the dress, seen the dress, does what she does to Diana and tries to come to Robert. And Robert's like looking like he's calling for Diana, his new bride. And then the old bride, the bride of Chucky, shows up. And he's like, what? And even then, he was still kind to her. He was still, you remember, he was still nice to her. Right. He was still trying to reason with her. He's in, and she was like, we could be together, blah, blah, blah. Diana comes out like, okay, you hurt my baby. She gets thrown overboard, and he still tries to save her. Remember? Mm-hmm. He still was trying to grab for her and save her. And then she goes down in the dress. He's looking all defeated, laying up back. And then it goes off. But everybody's like, why did it end that way? How did she get on the boat? It's in the middle of nowhere. It's pitch dark. How'd she get on the boat? Yeah. Make it make sense, Tyler.
Yeah. Definitely could have wrote that part. It didn't. And I
it
get
was
it.
8 days. That was the last day. Like, come on, let's just do it. He was right. Like, come on, it's day 8. Let's just do it.
No, you got, because you got to remember, he had to have written that before they actually, did it. So you done looked at that multiple times and that made sense to you? I'm sorry. I mean, I get it. Maybe he was thinking because he had promised her the penthouse and the boat, maybe that's where he thought that would kind of bring that in. But no, bro, you gotta make it make sense. Writing has to make sense.
It has to be. The continuity has to be there.
Yeah, definitely.
And it wasn't like they jumped. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So some people love this movie, or I don't know anybody who loves it, but some people like this movie, and some people hate this movie. Now, this is more than just a movie where we review and talk about classic Black films. We know that this is not a classic Black film that came out in 2018. We know that this is not one of those movies like Coming to America where everybody loves it. We know that, but we're doing Tyler Perry for the month of August, and this is on the list this week. We've done A Family That Prays. We've done Good Deeds, and now Acrimony. Next week, we'll tell you, we're talking about 2 movies. So we'll tell you about those next week. What you got to say as we end this, Leroy?
It's all about Tyler Perry. And like I said, and I was looking at this today. So I was watching, I watched Sisters last night because that's the one show of
I like that too.
Like. And I will say too, I don't know if you ever watched it too, but Assisted Living is funny too. That's
I tried to watch that once.
It's funny.
I have to watch it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny. I think that one.
I gotta watch it once.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But I give mad props to Tyler Perry and the stories that he tells, and what he's done. I mean, even like we said, Acrimony wasn't one of his best movies and everything like that, but I understood the message that he told.
I did too. And I think that's why I watched it. I understand the message. Some people just thought bad acting. I don't want to see it. I understood.
You can tell it was done in 8 days. I'm sorry.
You could tell. So some people don't know what acrimony means. It means anger and bitterness, harsh or biting sharpness, especially of words, manners, or feelings. The dispute continued with increased acrimony. So some people might have been not even knowing what acrimony even meant.
Right, exactly.
But they saw it.
Right. So, and I think part of that was because it was Tyler Perry, it was Taraji P. Henson, you know what I mean?
And she played that crazy, she played that part.
Absolutely.
She played that part. Before we end, go ahead.
I was just gonna say for them to do it in 8 days, that's crazy.
Yep.
To do it in 8 days, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's been his routine, even with the plays. He's done that from the plays all the way to
Yeah.
So he's not gonna mess with that formula.
No.
Because it worked for me. It worked for me. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna do what I know how to do.
Right.
Unfortunately, but
before we go, I want to just do a couple of quick trivias.
Okay.
So this was Tyler Perry's 21st film.
Oh, okay.
Despite the film being the most panned by critics, Taraji P. Henson's performance was lauded, they said. Taraji P. Henson, who plays the older Melinda, had to wear contact lenses to match Ingenue's light gray eyes. Henson's eyes are actually brown, so they made Taraji's eyes the same color as her. And then that lady also, the young lady also played her in Empire when Taraji was young.
Oh, okay.
She played her in that. That's my little trivia. Let's see. This is the third collaboration between actress Taraji P. Henson and director Tyler Perry. Their previous collaborations, of course, The Family That Prays, I Can Do Bad All By Myself, and Acrimony. And I remember Taraji saying that he was the first person to give her what she is worth as far as pay.
Right.
The film's class, let's see. The film was released 14 years after the unrelated film with the same title. The former film is also a thriller, but it's not a horror film. Also, this film is one of the 2 films released in 2018 that stars Taraji P. Henson. The other film was Proud Mary. I saw that too. Did you like Proud Mary? I took my daughter to that. She was like, Mom, you got to stop taking me to these. It was good for what it's worth. I enjoyed it. I like Taraji. I tried to support her, but that didn't go well in the box office either. Omari, and this is a fun fact, I always got to put this. Omari Hardwick was considered for the role of Robert.
Really? Now I can see him.
Yeah.
I could see him.
Yeah.
This is probably the first one that we've done where I could see somebody else playing that role. And absolutely, I could have seen Omari Hardwick as Robert.
And Lyric Bent, the Lyric Bent who played Robert, we talked about She's Gotta Have It, the series. He played in the series She's Gotta Have It.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was one of her men.
Oh,
he was the bougie one. What's his name? I can't think.
Okay. I know
the
you're talking
bougie
about
one,
that.
and She's Gotta Have It. But this is good. This is the car version, I guess.
I know, right?
And my head is pounded, but I've made it through.
I know.
Won't he do it? But this is more than just a movie where we break down classic Black films. The only way Leroy and I know how to do it with our opinion, talking about real life, sprinkling that in with it. Leroy, what you got to tell the people?
Well, we ain't gonna cut no corners. If we don't like it, we're gonna tell you we don't like it, first of all. But y'all know what to do. Y'all need to hit that bell, that notification bell, subscribe, like, and comment and share. Hit that notification bell, comment, like, subscribe, and y'all better share. Or we gonna sick Melinda on y'all if y'all don't share.
They don't want no problems with her. They don't want no problems with her. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like Leroy said, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. I do a lot of things on this channel, so check everything out, and also check out the previous episodes of More Than Just a Movie. I'm guaranteeing you one of your favorite movies we've already done or we're about to do it. Thank you so much. I'm Kendell Lenice. That's Leroy Mckenzie Jr. This is More Than Just a Movie. God bless y'all. Peace.
Peace.